يوم نعيم لكلكم. This is me, Tony, and this is another video presentation for you on my YouTube channel and also on my Odyssey channel. Title of this video presentation today is the Amrit Stele Inscription and the Unity of the Phoenician Word. This is taken from RES or RES, Répertoire d'épigraphie sémitique, under the number 234-234. This is an image of the stele, which dates back to the 6th century BC. Some historical and archaeological information about this stele. This was a limestone, broken, long stele found at Amrit, Marathus, by Renan during his archaeological mission in Phoenicia in the 19th century. And he wrote about it in his book Mission de Phénicie, 1864. This inscription depicts a humanoid deity in a bas-relief standing on top of a lion, holding in his right arm a weapon, and in his left arm a lion held by its hind legs. Above the deity floats the lunar and sun discs, and above them the arch of the divine wings. This stele could date from the 9th to the 6th century BC, with the most likely dating for the inscription to the mid-6th century BC. The inscription is inscribed with small letters which were not initially noticed. This god, Shedrofe, appears to have features of many other Phoenician gods, like the god Eshmun, the god of Sidon, the healer god in the Phoenician pantheon, the god Reshep, already discussed in previous videos on my channel, video number 23, 24, and 42 for those who are interested in knowing more about this god. And in addition to that, the god of Tyre, the famous milk cart, in addition to the Egyptian god Shed. Shed was the god of deliverance and rescue. Rofe is the healer, medical doctor in the Phoenician language and also in the modern Hebrew language. A similar name is the name of the archangel Raphael, the healer of God, God El. God has healed is another meaning, and it's written Raphael, Raphael in Hebrew. A similar name in the spoken Lebanese would be Rufael. So Raphael is pronounced as Rufael, which is the same pronunciation as the word Rofe. Rufael, Rofe. This is a sketching of the image of the Amrit Stele, and we can see here this god, Shedrofe, which has features of the Egyptian god Shed and the three other Phoenician gods, including god Eshmun, the god Reshep, and also the god Milkat. Here we have images of the Egyptian god Shed. This is an amulet depicting Shed subduing dangerous animals. And this is Shed is depicted as a child or a young man wearing a loincloth. He always had the side lock of use. This is side lock of use on his head. His attributes are a bow and arrow, and sometimes a lance as well. He holds wild animals in his hands and is usually standing on two crocodiles. Here on this slide, we have images of the gods Milkart and also the god Reshep. This is an image of the god Milkart of Tyre. And here we have an image of the smiting god Reshep. And as I said, I have discussed the god Reshep in previous videos. And it appears that god Reshep was also worshipped on the island of Cyprus. So it was mentioned in few inscriptions from the island of Cyprus. These are images of the Egyptianized god Reshep. As I mentioned in previous presentations, the god Reshep was adopted by the Egyptians and became one of their gods. Here we have a bas-relief of the god Reshep, and here we have a statue of the smiting god Reshep. Winged disc meaning and symbolism in the Phoenician religion. The imagery of a winged disc is ubiquitous in the ancient Near East. It can be found in Egyptian, Assyrian, Persian, and Ptolemaic iconography. The sun is usually a symbol for the chief deity of the culture. In Assyria and Persia, the disc is often augmented with the depiction of a personal figure, the god Ashur in the case of Assyria, and the god Ahura Mazda in Persian in depictions. The winged disc, in Phoenician called ᶜBDY, symbolizes the supreme deity that oversees everything in the world. In this stele, as in many other Phoenician iconographies, it is placed above the disk of the sun and the crescent of the moon, and with the wings turned downwards to symbolize protection. It may represent Baal Shamim, the god of the heavens, or in my opinion, the god El himself, the father of all gods in the Canaanite pantheon. The winged disc may be compatible with the Jewish religion, as seen in a couple of places in the Bible. For example, in Psalm 84:12 we read, "For the sun and shield is the Lord God. Favor and glory does the Lord God give." In Malachi 4:2, the Lord declares, "But for those who revere my name, the Sun of Righteousness will rise with healing in its wings." The winged disc may represent the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit for us Christians, hovering over the empty earth, as we read in Genesis 1:2. "Veruach Elohim merhepet al panei hamayim." And the Spirit of God hovered over the surface or the face of the waters. Here we have the winged disc in the Sumerian religion. It's the winged disc in the Sumerian religion. And here we have the winged disc in the Mesopotamian religions. Here in the Neo-Assyrian religion, we have a Neo-Assyrian winged disc. And here we have a Persian Achaemenid winged disc. Here we have an Egyptian and an Israelite winged disc. This is the Egyptian Horus Vahedeti winged disc. And here we have a winged disc on the seal of King Hezekiah from the kingdom of Judah. King Hezekiah ruled from 715 to 687 BC. And we have here the winged disc and 3 rays emanating from this winged disc. And now we come to our inscription for today, which is the Amrit Stele inscription. And this is the inscription. And this is a sketching image of the inscription. We'll have a quick look at the inscription. So it is in 3 lines. And we're going to try to decipher the letters together. So here we have the letter Nun. This is the letter Tzade. This is the letter Bet. This is the letter Aleph. This is the letter Zain. And here we have the letters here are not very clear, but we think that they are the letter Yod and the letter Taf. And then here we have the letter Nun. Here we have the letter Pe. Here we have the letter Lamed. Here we have the letter Samek. Here we have the letter Bet, the letter Nun, the letter Ain, the letter Bet, the letter Resh, or no, so that would be the letter Dalet. The letter Resh will have a longer leg here. Here we have the letter Yod, the letter Lamed, the letter Aleph, the letter Resh, no, the letter dalet, the letter nun, the letter yod, the letter lamed, the letter shin, the letter dalet, the letter resh, the letter pe, the letter aleph, the letter kaf, the letter shin, the letter mim, the letter ain, the letter qof, the letter lamed, the letter dalet, the letter bet. See the dalet and the resh, how the leg of the resh is longer, and here we have the letter yod. And if we read, this would be Nitzib, Azeh, Yaton, Piles, Ben Abday, Li Adonio, Li Shedrofe, Qui, Shama, Qol Duberio. So this is the Phoenician inscription as written in the modified Latin alphabet and also in the Hebrew alphabet. So again, for people who look at my videos, so this is not in Hebrew, this is just the inscription written using the Hebrew alphabet. So we read, Nitzib Azeh Ish Yaton. So Ish again was not clear on the previous inscription, so that's why I didn't mention it. So Nitzib Azeh Ish Yaton Piles Ben Abday Li Adonio Li Shedrofe כשמע قل دبري. In Hebrew, with the Hebrew alphabet, Nitzib Azeh Ish Yaton Piles Ben Abday Li Adonio Li Shedrofe כשמע قل دبري. So this is a French translation of the inscription. Cette stèle-ci est celle qu'a dédiée Piles, fils d'Abday, à son seigneur Shedrofé, parce qu'il a exaucé le cri de sa prière. English and Italian translations. In English, this stele was presented by Piles, son of Abday, to his lord Shedrofe, because he heard the voice of his words or prayers. In Italiano, questa stele fu donata da Piles, figlio di Abday, al suo signore Shedrofe, perché udì la voce delle sue parole or preghiere. An Arabic and a German translation of this inscription. In Arabic, هذا النصب الذي قدمه بلاس ابن عبدي لسيده لشدروفي لأنه سمع صوت كلامه أو تضرعاته. In German, diese Stelle wurde von Piles, dem Sohn Abdeis, seinem Herrn Shedrofe geweiht, weil sein Gebet erhört hatte. Shedrofe in other Phoenician inscriptions from the motherland and abroad. In Sarpeta, South Lebanon, circa the 6th century BC, we have another inscription mentioning the god Shedrofe, and it reads, Li Adonio, Li Shedrofe, כשמע קולו, to his lord Shedrofe because he heard his prayers. In another inscription from Carthage, modern-day Tunis, it's a Punic inscription under the KŠMᶜ 77.1/2, circa 3rd century BC. We read, Li Adon Li Shedrofe, Mizbah Eben Ish Bano, Miqitz Alom Bimisabu, Birik Milkart, and it translates into English as, to the Lord Shedrofe, this stone altar was built by the awakener of the god on his couch, Birik Milkart. In Leptis Magna or Lepsis Magna, Libya, this is a Neopunic inscription, KŠMᶜ 119.1, circa 2nd century BC. We read, Li Adon Li Shedrofe ula Milk Ashtart Ribote Alpiki Mesh Ze. For the Lord Shedrofe and Milk Astarte, the proprietary gods of Lepsis, are represented in this statue. In Tripolitania, Libya, we have a Neopunic inscription, KŠMᶜ 127, circa 1st century BC, And we read, Mesh ze, tine, liadon Shedrofe, bod milkart ben miton Baal. This statue was erected to the Lord Shedrofe by Bot Milkart, son of Miton Baal. In Latin, libero patri sacrum bon cart mitum Baalis filius. In Palmyra, Syria, circa 1st to 3rd century AD, the name Shedrofé appears in a votive Palmyrian Aramaic inscription to the god Shedrofé and also the god Du'anat. Shedrofe, a healing god, is represented wearing military attire and holding in his hand a spear around which a serpent is coiled, like the Asclepius Road. Palmyra was an important station for the Phoenician land commerce roads. In the Hellenistic period, the name of this god appears as Satrapes. New Phoenician vocabulary from this and other related inscriptions. Nitsib, noun, masculine. Transliteration, nitsib. English translation, stele or offering table. Meaning is similar in Hebrew and also in Arabic. Nasb in Arabic. We have also some synonyms in Phoenician. We have the word mitsib, mitsib. In Hebrew, matzab. English translation, stele, garrison, outpost, colony. We have another word, mitzibit. Transliteration, mitzibit. In Hebrew, matzebet. In Neo-Punic, mitzift, written in the Latin alphabet. Or mitzbit sikr. Mitzbit sikr, transliteration, and its translation is memorial stele. So mitzbit sikr is a memorial stele. Piles is a personal noun. Transliteration, piles. In Greek, pheles. English translation, to deliver, to save. It's likely a short personal noun version of a theophoric name, such as Adon Piles, Eshmun Piles, or Milkat Piles. English meaning, Adon saves, Eshmun saves, Milkat saves. Piles is in a way similar to the word khallasa. Piles, khallasa, to save. Mizbah, eben. Mizbah is a noun masculine. Eben is a noun feminine. Mizbah eben, English translation is stone altar. Miqitz alom bimisabu is a noun expression. Miqitz alom bimitsabu. English translation, the awakener of the god on his couch. So this refers to a class of priests charged with awakening the god in the early morning, the initial act of the daily liturgy. There was a similar priestly service in the Temple of Jerusalem with the me'orer, the awakener, me'orerim function, that is to ascend to the platform of the temple and to cry aloud, "Awake, why do you sleep, O Lord?" This service was later abolished in the Jewish reform of temple worship. This you can still find a mention of this in the Psalm, book of the Psalms, and Psalm 44:23, and this reads, "Ura lama ishan Adonai haqitsa al tiznah la natseh." And this reads in English, "Awake, Lord, why do you sleep? Rouse yourself. Do not reject us forever." New Phoenician vocabulary from this and other related Phoenician inscriptions. Misab, transliteration, misab, English translation, couch or divan. Miqits is a masculine noun, transliteration, miqits, English translation, the awakener of. A Phoenician synonym is meqim, transliteration, meqim, English translation, raiser, rouser, of. In Arabic, al-muqiz or al-muqim. Mesh, or in the Punic form, mesh with an aleph in the middle as a matris lectionis. Mesh, English translation, is statue or image. Tine in the Punic form, or tine, this form in the Phoenician form. This is the yod is a matris lectionis. This is a verb, pal form of the verb. Transliteration, tine, English translation, erect, place, provide, or endow. Bod milqart, transliteration, bod milqart, English translation, a literal translation would be in the hand of milqart, that is, in the service of milqart. Birek milqart, English translation, milqart blessed him, me or you, or the blessed by, or the blessed of milqart. Miton baal, again, is a personal noun. Birek milqart is a personal noun. Miton baal is also a personal noun. And miton baal, English translation, the gift of Baal. Amrit was the site of the Phoenician Olympic Games, according to Dr. Labib Boutros. Dr. Labib Boutros, who lived from 1935 to his death in 1997, was a journalist and professor of sports. He was a doctor in the field of sports pedagogy at the Martin Luther University of Halle. After pursuing competitive sports with success, he became a swimming champion and record holder on several occasions. He devoted himself to training, journalism, and was the sports anchor of a major Lebanese television station. He was a second prize winner at the Mexico Olympic Games in 1968 competition open to all world journalists. He undertook extensive research about the city of Amrit and its stadium. He believed that the Phoenician cities used to have their own Olympic Games in the city of Amrit, many centuries before the Greeks started their Olympic Games. He wrote extensively on this issue in English, Arabic, and French. His writings are preserved in the Olympic Games Word Library for those interested to have a look at. His book in English, Phoenician Sports, Its Influence on the Origin of the Olympic Games, was written in 1981. His scientific technique was criticized by some historians. I'm not going to go through this controversy here in this presentation. All I wanted to do is to acknowledge Dr. Labib Boutros' extensive works on the history of the Olympic Games, the Phoenician Olympic Games in the city of Amrit. General comments on this inscription. Qul qartiki eshli. So in this slide and the coming two slides, I'm going to present my political opinion about what is happening in the Middle East and what needs to happen. This is my personal opinion and views, and I'm not forcing my opinion or views on anyone else. So if you don't like to hear any political opinion of mine, please skip those three slides. I have chosen this Phoenician inscription from northern Phoenicia, now under Syrian rule, in solidarity with the people of that part of Phoenicia, mainly the Alawites and the Christians, who were recently attacked by the fanatic Islamists of the new fundamentalist Syrian regime. Thousands of those people were massacred, and their homes were destroyed. Even their forests are being systematically set on fire. I think it is time for northern Phoenicia to rejoin core Phoenicia, that is modern-day Lebanon. I dream of the great Canaan, where united Phoenicia would ally herself in a treaty with southern Canaan, as it was at the time of King Hiram and King David, creating, therefore, a sizable federal state which could become a leading country in the Middle East, and a strong country in the Middle East. I also dream of a Phoenician Friends League of Mediterranean countries, which once harbored Phoenician colonies, who would cooperate economically, politically, and culturally across our Mare Punicum. This is my vision. Although I lived under the bombardments of the Syrian Alawite regime, and I was once kidnapped by their Lebanese minions in the Bekaa Valley in the 80s of the last century. As a human being and as a Christian, I cannot but stand with the minorities in Syria, the Christians, the Alawites, and even the notorious Druze who massacred my ancestors and fellow Christians in 1840, 1860, and in 1983, almost 42 years day to day in this month of September. Sunni political Islam is to be condemned in the strongest words. This Sunni political Islam is far worse than Shiite political Islam, and both are not compatible with our time and age. One is free to embrace the religion of one's choice, but one is forbidden from persecuting or killing one's fellow human being because of their different faiths and ethnicities. Therefore, it is incumbent on our moderate Muslim friends to stand up for their religion and condemn, like me, with the strongest words, these atrocities committed in the name of Islam in Syria. General comments on this inscription, qu'il. This inscription is an attestation to the conviviality among pagans who shared deities and custom fashioned them to suit their cultures and religions. Like, for example, the god Shedrofe in this inscription, which was an amalgam of three Phoenician Canaanite gods, Eshmun, Reshep, and Milkart, and one Egyptian popular deity, Shed. Pagans could live together in peace, but the Islamist regime in Syria aims to subdue and or completely eliminates all Alawites, Christians, and Druze by systematically terrorizing and massacring them. Pagans could invoke their gods and make peace with their enemies, but Hamas in Gaza is not ready to accept defeat, release the Israeli hostages, and at least surrender power to the Palestinian Authority. The terrorists of Hamas want to continue this war until the last Palestinian in Gaza is killed and the last house still standing in Gaza is destroyed. At least our Hezbollah surrendered and the Lebanese civilians are now safe. Egypt, the previous ruler of Gaza, is not ready to open her borders for the innocent non-combatant civilians to flee the hell on earth war in Gaza. No, the rich Arabic countries are providing the necessary help for the poor Palestinians. Pagans, it seems, were better. Civilians have almost always been allowed to flee war in ancient Phoenicia and Israel, and also in modern uh, times, like the Armenians who left Turkey, the Greek who left Turkey, the Turkish who left Greece, uh, and vice versa in the island of Cyprus. But except for Gaza, the Gazans are not allowed to flee war, and that's not acceptable at all. General comments about this inscription, qu'il. So why do we care about Phoenicia and the Great Canaan? We care because, as we say in Lebanese, نحن أم الصبي. That is, we are the boy's mother. We are the main stakeholders, the ones directly concerned. We are the native people of the land. We are, as we say in Maori, the Tangata Whenua of the land of Canaan. Dr. Labib Boutros spent his life studying, writing, and talking about the Phoenician sporting games of Amrit, while the city was not located in Lebanon but in western Syria. On the other side of the border, Syrian scholars were deeply involved in the so-called Arabic resurrection ideology of al-Ba'as party propaganda to falsify the history of Phoenicia by claiming that it was simply Arabic. We, free Christians of Lebanon, care about the whole region. We want to live in peace with everyone. We have fought political Islam for 1400 years, and we deserve to stay and live in peace and dignity in the land of our ancestors. Yes, for the cessation of all hostilities in the Middle East and North Africa, including also Sudan. Yes, for peace and for the Abrahamic Accords. Abraham was the father of all believers. He was Aramaic, yet he came to the land of Canaan and became Canaanized and lived in peace with the people of Canaan. And I'm totally for the Abrahamic Accords. Yes, for recognizing the rights of the Jews to live in the land of Israel, the Christians and other ethnic and religious minorities to live in the majority Islamic Middle East and North Africa. No and 1,000 no to the barbarism, death cult, and genocidal policies of Daesh and neo-Daesh regime in Syria and Hamas in Israel. No to excessive unrestrained use of force by Israel in Gaza. No to the eschatological suicidal mullah regime policies emanating from Shia Iran. No to the hatred and the demonizing of the different other. Phoenician inscription of Amrit Stele and other inscriptions mentioning the god Shedrofe, as written by me in the Phoenician alphabet with diacritical marks for vowels. Press 234 for the Amrit Stele. Nitsib azde ishiaton, piles ben Abday, لأدونيو لشدروفé كشمع قل دبريو. The Sarpetta inscription لأدونيو لشدروفé كشمع قلو. The Carthage inscription Kai 7712 reads لأدون لشدروفé مذبح ابن إش بانو ميقيتس ألون بميسادو بيرك ميلقرت. The Leptis Magna inscription Kai 119.1 reads لأدون لشدروفé ولملك عشترتي ريبوتي البيقي مش زي. The Libyan inscription Kai 127 reads مش زي هنا لأدون شدروفé bod ملقرت بن ميتون بال. Final comments on this inscription. This inscription is somehow a proof of the Phoenician Canaanite unified identity. This god Shedrofe mentioned in this inscription was worshipped all over Phoenicia and Phoenician colonies. Those who say that there was no Phoenician nation or people, but only isolated city-states at the Levantine littoral and isolated colonies across the Mediterranean Sea, are not accurate. There was a Phoenician people with a motherland Phoenicia, composed of many cities with one language and two main dialects, Biblian and the Tyro-Sidonian, which later became Punic and Neo-Punic. This Phoenician world had one religion with many shared gods and one mythology, as attested in the Ugaritic writings. And if Dr. Labib Boutros is right, this inscription of Amrit may have witnessed the Phoenician Proto-Olympic Games, uniting Phoenician sportsmen from all over Phoenicia and her colonies. Phoenicia survives in us, and she deserves to be resurrected and restored. Am I Alexander Dugin of Canaan, or the last surviving Canaanite? See you next time with another video presentation. Long live Phoenicia and the Phoenician people. God bless you all and see you next time. And these are my references for this video presentation. Thank you again, and see you next time.